Let me make one other little short video about the drive line. A couple of people commented about the axles and the transmission not lasting very long, but I think people have a lot of misconception about off-roading stuff. Is the biggest issue with tearing up drive lines is not power or necessarily abuse, but it's weight. Most people add thousands of pounds of tires, wheels, roll cages. They're carrying around half their toolbox in the back, and all that shit is really completely unnecessary. And if that's what tears your vehicle up, is dragging around all that weight. Half-ton stuff actually works really well. It's light. It's a lot cheaper to put parts on, as long as you keep the tire size and tire weight, more importantly, in check. Like, these are 36 IROCs, but they're actually really light. They're not overly aggressive, so it spins them easily. And another thing too is keeping the gear ratio relatively tall. That's these are 355s, which is tall, but it doesn't multiply the torque so much that you're snapping axles and everything else every time you hammer on the gas. It's probably a little harder on the tranny, but it's a lot less strain on the differentials. And this rear end is built with chromoly axles, locker, a heavy duty cover, and has had as much weight as possible stripped off. And these tires and wheels are extremely light for their size. Like, I have, you probably can't see it, but there's my 4Runner over there has pretty much the same size Toyo Mud Open Country MTs or whatever on it, and they're probably 20 pounds of tire heavier than these IROCs, and they're almost 2 inches smaller. So tire choice also plays a lot into it. And also, people are always bashing the TTB, which it's not very strong, and it's certainly not adept at rock crawling, but it's not a bad axle for trail riding, desert, that kind of stuff, because of the travel and the smoothness of it. I've actually jumped this thing probably 25 times and gotten several feet off the ground with, and have never broken anything on it. It's stock U-joints, everything, gears, it's never been apart. It has 170,000, I guess, miles, which, obviously most of those it wasn't turning, but they're actually pretty tough axles if you keep, the maintenance. The worst thing about them is the outers, the hubs are mud magnets. It's almost impossible to keep the mud out of them if you can forget off-roading them and then driving it on the road, because I've had the front end wheel bearings lock up on me twice trying to drive it home after mudding it and that kind of thing. So do yourself a favor and buy one of these and a trailer if you plan on doing much off-roading with the TTB, because they do not like the dirt or the mud. And of course, you're going to break anything. But I am of the mind personally that lighter is better. 1 tons and 44s is great, but it also weighs 10,000 pounds, and unless you got 500 ponies to push it, it sucks. It's no fun. This thing is heavy, but nothing compared to a lot of rigs, and is a lot more fun because you can instantly light up the tires and jump it and actually play with it. And this is no rock crawler anyway. If you're wanting to rock crawl, buy a Jeep. This is trail riding, mud, that kind of thing. But it is a lot of fun, and the V8 just sounds awesome. It's so much more fun to play with than 4 or 6 cylinder Jeeps or Toyotas. They go great, but the muscle is where it's at. But anyway, enough ranting for today.